Are you ready for an action-packed bloodbath? Well, too bad, because what we're actually getting here is you play the peasants, and you're going to actually defend the castle, very similar to this war of mine. I mean, as a concept, I don't mind it. I just think that intro cutscene does not introduce the game at all. But I looked up Gloria Victis, the name of Siege Survival, and it seems to be maybe a spin-off of a larger MMO? I'm not sure. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the game. Welcome to Tran Wins Siege Survival, Gloria Victis. 6th day of summer, the year 1205, Kingdom of Midland. We were just starting harvest when the Izmirs struck out of nowhere, catching us off guard. Horns of war sounded through Erdring, and the smoke-filled city streets ran red with the blood of its citizens. The savage warriors from Kargald had invaded our home. Now, the game makes this big deal of having the colored text, which is fine, but here's the thing. Your army is red, their army is blue, and so all the text here, red is bad, and blue is good. So that's a odd dichotomy there. I'm not sure. Alright, the town guard fought bravely, but the Izmirs were too many. Before long, the raiders were in the main square and the city center stood in flames. All we could do was send a messenger out to summon aid, while the outnumbered guards focused on protecting. If you pick the fleeing citizens, you get 1 extra soldier. If you pick workers salvaging supplies, you get a couple extra things. I wrote them down, but it's not that big a deal. I'd rather have the extra soldier. In an act of selfless sacrifice, the guards gave their lives to aid the citizens. The survivors soon found shelter within the cold castle wall, safe from the slaughter. For the moment, those who could joined the castle crew to prepare the defense. The bloodshed continued unabated. Street by street, square after square, the Izmirs overran the city, murdering anyone who didn't escape in time. Then, they prepared their war engines, smashing the gate connecting the town and the castle. We thought things couldn't get any worse when... These 2 options here. This one only lowers your character's morale, not your garrison's morale. And this one makes 2 of your soldiers start out wounded, which you then have to heal. I'm gonna actually go and pick this because I'm not sure how to recover a person's mood. I'll just patch up the soldiers later. Anyone still able to carry a blade was ordered to ready themselves for the defensive bastion. Alas, a tremendous boulder crashed down onto the barracks. The ceiling collapsed, killing and wounded many men still trapped inside. Our defense would be that much weaker. We took shelter in the keep and took stock of the situation. Supplies were limited, no doubt. The Izmirs would soon attack again. The castle, the only part of Erdring still uncaptured, was now under siege. It was up to us to support our soldiers as they fight to stave off the enemy until relief comes. The bastion must hold. Alright, so this is the loading screen, and I'll normally leave it out, but I'll leave it in this case. This is what the intro should be about. This is because this loading screen does kind of tell you what the game is. No, I'm not talking about the tip here, I'm just talking about the picture. This is you picking up the aftermath of basically. That intro was not it. Move your character by clicking the left mouse button at the desired destination. You can move and rotate camera using WSAD. Who says WSAD? Doesn't everybody say WASD? Was? I don't know. That's sad. I've never thought of that before. It's just sad. And QE keys or the mouse. Now go to the man sitting by the castle wall and talk to him. Alright, so, well, that's okay there. Okay, I wasn't sure if my computer was just not able to run the game. Now, normally this is a very time-sensitive nature game, so you want to move fast, but this first day is pretty heavily scripted, essentially. There's not much you can actually do. So here's some pigs and stuff, we can't worry about them. The only thing I can do in the tutorial is talk to him. You recognize the man before you. It's Bertram, a local carpenter. You're relieved to see he survived. It's clear, however, the events of the last day have scarred him in some terrible way. He just sits there, seemingly unaware of your presence, shivering and pressing his hand to his chest. Examine him. As you check him for wounds, you notice something in his tightly clenched hand. It's a small, scorched doll. You suddenly realize this man has just lost his family. There's nothing you can do for this kind of pain. Still, perhaps a warm meal might snap him out of this state of shock. However, the kitchen was destroyed by Izmir trebuchets. You'll have to build a fireplace first. With all this debris around, you will surely have no difficulty finding firewood and other useful materials. So much of the game is about basically running around in stealth and looting everything and then bringing it back home to build up your army. That's pretty much it. Tutorial items. The items you just collected from the debris pile are in the center window. You can move an item by using the left mouse button, or drag and drop to common inventory, or by choosing take in the context menu by using the right mouse button. I'm just gonna hit take all. So this is what we currently have. You don't really need to, you won't really be seeing the screen too much during this. This is just your looting during the castle, which pretty much does not happen. So now we're gonna build something. So we looted some items, now we're gonna build something. Tutorial building. I feel like this pop-up window is really oddly placed. I kind of in editing mode want to zoom in on this, but then I think that would be too, that wouldn't really give you a good idea of what the game current state is. So I think I will leave it as is. All the available constructions are listed on the left. If you have all the required materials, the building is marked green. I think it's because this picture looks so much, I guess, screenshot photorealistic, I guess, of the game. So you think like this is where I'm supposed to click. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I think there's something's off about this. Once you select the construction you want to build, you can see its properties on the right. Once you confirm your selection with the button below, choose the construction site location within the castle walls. Any construction can be damaged by the enemy's projectile. If it's placed on the exposed area marked orange in the building mode. You can place it in a safe blue zone protected by thick bastion walls, but it's a limited area, so you need to decide which building to protect. An important thing to know about this game is when you upgrade, say, the Storehouse 1 to a Storehouse 2, this stuff here costs you less, so it's best to hold off if you can and upgrade first before making any sort of construction. However, this is the tutorial and we have to follow the rules, so we're gonna go and build this stuff with the sawhorse. And I'm not actually gonna place it in the blue area. I don't know how much I can squeeze in here, but this is not something that it's not as valuable as, say, a furnace or something. I don't know. So we're gonna go and make the sawhorse. I don't care too much about its facing, so we're just gonna put it that way. So it's near this. Now that's fine. Down here we have our sleep status, food status, thirst status, health, sickness, and if we're sad or not. Chopped wood. This is where you can craft new items. Once you select the scheme for the item you want to craft, you can see its properties on the right. To confirm your selection, use the button below. Some schemes can use a few alternative ingredients, vegetables instead of eggs. For example, you can change the ingredient to be used with the arrow at the top right corner of the ingredients slot. If you have enough materials, you can choose to craft more units of the item at once. Now, I do like this part. This part of the game is really nice in that when I am crafting, it automatically picks stuff for you. We'll notice when I start cooking. So we need to make firewood. Chop some wood is not very specific. If you end up making planks, you're gonna have to end up converting those planks into a lesser amount of firewood. So we're just gonna actually just do this. This bar will be yellow instead of blue if your character is in yellow status or kind of a not efficient status, or he'll even be in red status if he's really doing badly. Such as if he just hasn't slept in days. Alright, so this is a bunch of random stuff. Materials will be very useful for things like metal, fiber, and stuff like rope. Rotten food is good for animals, and eggs are good for your meals. You can also click down here to learn more about the characters you have selected. You can have a maximum of 4 characters, so the ones you find in the town, I hope you're happy with them. But since there are achievements associated with each character, you'll probably want each character at least once. I don't know what all the characters are like. I kind of glanced through the achievements. I do know that there is one that I want that crafts faster. I never thought my life could completely change within just a day. Yesterday, I was simply doing my work around the animals. Now I'm in the ruins of a castle surrounded by savage invaders, hoping relief will come. May the Forefather protect us in these desperate times. So if you click on these, you'll eat them. So this is your eat button. I've also bound buttons to eat and drink. Eat is 5 and drink is 6. This it's because eat is on the left and drink is on the right on this. So that's how I'd probably think of it. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and cook or build a fireplace using the 6 of those materials. And we're gonna place it, I don't know, how about, I don't know where to put it. Let me think here. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time fretting about where to put things, because that would be very boring for you to watch. I just don't want to make it look bad. We're gonna go ahead and put it kind of in the center of the castle. Now I can speed up or slow things down here. I will try to keep it on normal speed for the most part, because I think it'll make for better viewing. If I go too fast, some people won't see what's going on. If I go too slow, people get frustrated. But normally what I would suggest is if you're playing, go slow as soon as the map or day begins, so you can issue out all your orders and then go to normal speed. I don't know if I'll be doing that much. I would like to, but again, I don't want to make it a frustrating viewing experience. Alright, so here we go. This automatically went to eggs. If I had vegetables instead of eggs and I had no eggs, it would automatically show vegetables here. So I think that's really good that you don't have to fiddle with all sorts of different menus just to cook something. Real life is not like that. You go to your pantry, find a couple things. You don't pop up some sort of obscure menu and go through 32 pages to find if you can use salt or pepper or something. These things here are other recipe ingredients, but realistically, this is what I can make. So this is going to cost me 1 out of my 2 eggs and 3 of my 5 firewood, and I will get 1 meal. In the future, this will be a better ratio when I upgrade my fireplace. These buttons here will get rid of it, and I'll get some of my resources back, or I can upgrade it if I spend these things. Schemes, it sounds kind of diabolical, but schemes is just their way of saying blueprints, essentially. Let's go and craft this. Now I haven't tried it because loading the game takes so long, but I kind of wonder if I can eat this and then pretend to give it to him. If I eat it, can I still fulfill the quest of giving that to him? Bertram is still exactly where you left him, shivering and pressing the tattered doll to his chest. His eyes stare absently, pain frozen on his face. It's as though his mind just cannot escape what must have been his darkest moment. He barely notices your presence, but you manage to make him eat. Bite after bite, you can see life coming back into him. Finally, he puts down the empty bowl and falls asleep. It's safe to say he hasn't once shut his eyes since yesterday. Let him rest. Bertram's recovery would be so much better if he had even a simple bed, which you could build with materials lying in the streets. The gate connecting the city to the castle is damaged, but you recall there's a secret passage leading to the city market. You could use it and look for some supplies under the cover of night. But wait a minute, who's that man standing by the gate leading to Bastion? Let's get to work. Alright, so when I talk to him, it'll automatically become night, or when this arrow reaches all the way here, it'll become night. There's one other thing I can do in the meantime, which I can just do a little bit more sawing. Even though I did say that I recommend you upgrade, it's going to take me a while before I can even get, say, an iron and tools. So I will probably need firewood in between then, or planks. We'll go ahead and start crafting that. Using this day, which is going to get squandered away in the events that unfold. Now, I have one major tip for anybody playing. Because of the many different games I've played, I pick up something new in some of them. And one of them, I think was State of Decay, search far away and bring it all backwards. Don't search gathering things up and then bringing it further away as you look for more until you fill up your backpack. Because then you're just bringing your goods further away. Do it the other way, and then you're bringing all your stuff back to base. I'll show you. The soldier standing before you is covered in blood, his eyes dim with exhaustion, the tunic on his armor torn to shreds. Only once he speaks, you recognize Galvic, an experienced garrison member known and liked by the citizens for his cordial attitude. He's stunned speechless by the loss of his aunt and nieces. Yet another blow falling on a man already exhausted. But there is no time to grieve. The Izmirs will attack soon, he says. You must resupply before it happens. Then he reveals that a group of soldiers is searching through the city as well, but they still haven't come back. That's why he needs your help. We need arrows, he says, quite a lot of them. Of course, it would take days to craft them from scratch, but how about the bowyer's workshop in the city? That's your chance. Hurry, says Galvic. All our lives depend on you. He returns to the Bastion. The night has come. We're gonna go ahead and scavenge, sit the character outside. You only get, even though you can get more party members. Hold on one second, let me move the microphone because I can't even see Flint's face with the microphone in my way. Even though you can have more party members, you only get to scavenge with one person. I don't approve of this. I don't like this arbitrary party limit stuff. You'll see what I mean later on, especially when you have limited inventory space and everybody just has to sleep at night. It's like, come on. Here you can make all the preparations before entering the city. The map displayed on the left shows secret paths from the castle. Only one of them is available at the moment, but if you find a way to unlock the others, you'll be able to start your night in different parts of the city. On the top right corner, you can see the backpack of the selected character, each of them having a different number of slots available. Think about what items you would need during the scavenge and move them from your common supplies to the backpack. Torches, shovels, and weapons would be your usual choice. Hint, you have one torch, it might be useful. Now, if I were playing without recording, I would actually leave the torch here and then just try to get past this event without the torch, without getting damaged. but because it takes so long to load and I don't really feel like it, we are actually going to take their advice and bring the torch. We're not going to bring anything else because the stuff we bring in, well, we actually want to bring things to the base, not out of it. We want to be able to use these materials, not bring them into the streets. We're only going to bring that, although we could bring anything we wanted, because there are things you can trade too, and we'll talk about that as we reach them. These are the other passages, but we have not unlocked them, so we can only start here in the marketplace. Marketplace, there's these little eyeballs there. The sleeping icon indicates that the guard is not as the guard is somewhat relaxed right now. When it's at the middle eye, the guards are somewhat cautious of me, and then when it's a big eye, they are actively, well, game lore-wise, actively looking for you. I'm pretty sure they don't like randomly move or anything. They just follow a predetermined path. Essentially, this tells you how many guards you're gonna see. The heart of the city, or so it used to be. There's an average amount of wood resources, textiles, greens, water, and armaments. There's a few building materials and food. Let's go ahead and begin. You've entered the despoiled city below the castle. You can move faster by double-clicking the left mouse button, but be warned, running is louder, and this is a city under occupation. It is definitely a good idea to move carefully and mind your surroundings. I'm gonna run like almost everywhere, I think. Okay, so there's all this stuff I need to loot. I'm not worried about it right now, because that's really close to the entrance. I can get them almost any time. What I need to do is I need to bring stuff back towards the base, back towards the castle. That's the goal, is to get stuff into my castle, not into the city. I can also speed up searching, but you have to keep clicking this. I'm not, and sometimes if you misclick, you're just kind of screwing up at that point. So it's not always really worth it. So the stuff you're finding, I'm not even going to worry about what it is. I'm just grabbing it, and I can sort out what to bring back to base later. And that becomes weird, and that like you might have some valuable life-saving supplies right outside your exit, and you're not going to do anything about it because you had an arbitrary backpack limit. Alright, so this, if you try to walk through it, you could get sick. You stand a possibility of getting sick. Walking through fire doesn't hurt though. So we're just gonna go ahead and torch that and then not worry about it. Now, I'm pretty full on inventory, so I'm not actually gonna grab anything yet. I'll be back up here in a minute. You can drop its items anywhere. I'm just going to drop it here for now. And left click, double left click. There we go. All right, and so now my backpack is clear, and I'm just going to go back out there and get more stuff. Since we've already made a circuit, we kind of have an idea of how much space we'll need. I might be able to make everything in one more trip, maybe two. So grabbing things now shouldn't affect anything. But in general, you just want to grab. You want to be conscious of how you're picking up things. That exclamation point means an event, but that event is just saying that door is locked. Bring a key. I like the events in the game. I wish there were more of them, but I can understand that that takes a lot more work than saying like, here's some wood. Alright, most of the night is done. There actually is already a mod out. Today is May 24th, and there's a mod out that slows down the time of the game by 3 times. A lot of people really, really like it. Again, if I were playing by myself, I'd probably use it. But I want to show you what the game actually is like, so we're not going to do that right now. You have found the Bowyer's workshop. Needless to say, the Izmirs have been here. The building has been scorched and looted. Its owner hangs from a nearby tree, a dozen arrows sticking from his body. As you gaze on the destruction, a chilling wind reminds you why you're here. To find arrows for soldiers. Only one way to find out. You prowl through the devastated workshop, looking for the precious arrows among piles of broken parts and burnt-out furniture. Time passes, but you can't find any. Just as you're about to give up, you spot a flash in the dark under a broken roof beam. Could it be? Yes! Arrows for the Bastion defenders! You try pulling them out, but they seem stuck under the broken beam. You pull and pull until they're all yours. Suddenly, the dislodged beam collapses on top of you with all its weight. Pain shoots through your whole body. It takes you ages to get free. As you leave the workshop, you see something's changed. The bowyer's corpse has been taken down. An old woman leans over the body in the shade of the tree. She is sobbing, exhausted, and you guess she must be his mother. She had risked her life to cut her son down and bury him in a shallow grave. The woman struggles to move him, but she hurt herself with the axe under his belt. If you pick this, you get one item of valuable, that's what it's called, which doesn't really do anything, at least not that I've found yet. Or if you pick this, which is what I would generally recommend, you just get an axe that you can equip your soldiers with. I'm going to go ahead and pick this because I did specifically pick the option not to make my character sad. If I pick this, your character will get sad. You'll get an axe, but he'll be sad. I can always find axes other ways. The woman has started to see you approach, but you see relief in her eyes as she realizes you want to help. Once the corpse is buried, she gives you a small sack and silently walks away into the dark. So here's that one valuables. During the siege, worth as much as a handful of stones. We'll just take that. I don't have room for the arrows yet, but that's fine. It's going to be right there, so I can always grab that later. I'm also wounded from the event, so I'll need to make sure to take care of that when I get back to base, which is part of the tutorial, so you don't really avoid getting wounded here. So I haven't really completed the quest because I'm not holding those things, but I've definitely found them, and they're in that little pile right there. In fact, now I'm just gonna move things closer to the entrance because guards will still appear and be out there. So I might as well bring it out here. As night turns to day, your character is easily visible to enemies. Patrols will be sent to your location soon. Additionally, scavenging is exhausting work, and soon your character may not be able to run from the guards. Let's go and drop this. So, while it does take more game time, it's faster in real time to be able to drop it this way, because I can just double click the item to drop it. Otherwise, it asks you, do you want to drop? Are you sure? Really? Like, yes! That's the only thing I can do in this screen. Let me just drop it. Alright, so I've looted everything I possibly can at this moment. More items will appear once we're out of the tutorial phase. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to just chuck everything in and figure out what we want to bring. Let's go ahead and bring that. So we could probably use the food. We'll bring this because we could use the fiber. We need this for the quest. We need some wood. We need the arrows. Take the materials. And we'll take more of the wood. Alright, so, I mean, wood is important, but again, I'm limited exactly what I can bring. So this is the best stuff that I found, and I can bring the rest of this later as time goes on. Assuming, of course, it makes the cut. If I find something that says, like, I find 50 long swords, then yes, I'm going to bring that. But as time goes on, for example, one greens and herbs will take up an entire stack as much as 5 wood. So, for example, I'm bringing 10 right here. So by letting it sit here, I can also make it accumulate. This is what I suggest, is gathering up the stuff, then sorting it out and figuring out what you want to bring home. You can click this at any time to immediately try having your character auto-run to base. You really want to return? Yes. This is when the game saves, and I wish it would save before the night expedition, because it saves at the beginning of the day, and it's like, that's not necessary. I don't know. I just think it should save at the other opposite end of the time spectrum. This night was calm, but the enemy assault can come any day, and we must prepare for it. We should use this chance to help the soldiers at the bastion. Start a new day. Alright, because we are at least talking about the game a lot right now, I'm going to turn it to slow speed. Now it's saving. So here is our base, and none of these things you can actually interact with yet. So there's like no hidden things. All this is blue stuff that you can interact with. My character is sleepy, he's thirsty, and he's wounded. Let's go ahead and continue following along. So this is where your keep is. You don't, again, really do much until you see buttons appear. Right now I only have Flint, but as soon as we talk to him, we will have another character. It seems Bertram is feeling much better. The loss of the family has had a crushing impact on him that only time can fully heal. Nonetheless, finally, the carpenter has recovered from shock and is ready to rejoin the fight.
It was Flint, right?
He asks.
I remember you visiting my workshop once or twice with Galvic. Thank you for your help. Now, we should take care of the animals and find fresh water.
Bertram is right. Fresh water is paramount. In a stroke of bad luck, the castle well took a direct hit from the trebuchets. Still, maybe if you clear away the debris, you might repair it somehow. You've got to try. You've unlocked your second character. You can switch between characters with the tab key, or by selecting them directly with the left mouse button, also 1 through 4 are the default keys for this. Or by clicking their portrait in the left bottom corner. You can order them to complete different tasks, but remember, you need to take care of their needs. Each character has a different set of strengths and weaknesses, which determine what your character excels at or not. You can see these feats in the biography window, along with the character's backstory. Let's take a look at it.
Flint saved me, took care of me when I was broken, and I owe him. But I couldn't save my wife and my child. I could only watch as he passed me by, and I still hear their cries, and I can't escape the feeling I failed my family. I can't undo what happened. I must survive and be the best man I can be.
His abilities are he gets improvement to fighting and improvement to building. Alright, so I can switch between these with 1 and 2. And we need to start scavenging. Flint has a capacity of backpack. Start grabbing stuff. So Flint will generally be my scavenger, whereas I would try to have the carpenter do the carpentry. Makes sense, right? You removed the debris blocking the well. Sadly, to no avail. The well's base has been crushed by the trebuchet projectile. The shaft itself is blocked, and there's no way you could clear it out before dying of thirst. Perhaps you could find some potable water in the city market, under the cover of darkness. It's risky, but it's the best chance you have. We have no choice. You need to manage your animals. They can be very useful alive. For example, well-fed chickens lay eggs. To feed the animals, select the food edible for them using the left mouse button, or drag and drop on the item slots in the animal management window and confirm your action with the button below. The bar on the right shows how much sustenance the animals will get from what you're providing. They will use it gradually as they get hungry. Should you run out of food, you can kill the animals to obtain meat, but will a one-off portion of meat be better than a continuous supply of eggs? Alright, we're just gonna go... Let me see here. It's gonna take a while before I can make fodder reliably. I don't really want to do that, because I really want to turn these into fiber, but I do need to keep my chicken alive for now until I can at least continue, so we'll go ahead and feed them that. I'm going to select the Bastion, by the way, for the Carpenter. He's currently on the way to the castle. You can see reports about upcoming enemy assaults. Sometimes you will need to scout behind enemy lines to actually obtain this information. It is important to keep the Bastion's strength as high as possible in order to minimize defender losses and wall damage. Use this screen to pass supplies to the Bastion. They wait packed and transferred by the active character once you've confirmed your choice. Also, here you'll see the broken equipment which you'll have to take and repair. Make sure to check the defender's needs every day and supply them accordingly. Here you can check how the defense is going. You can see the remaining defenders and their equipment. Your ultimate task is to keep the Bastion well prepared for incoming attacks. Send arrows to the defenders to increase our chances to survive. Alright, so I did mention that you have the wounded. So I think you normally would start with 12, but because we saved the citizens, 1 joined the fight. And because we picked the barracks got attacked, 1 got wounded. So I have 12 ready to fight and 1 wounded. We have 5 in armament points because there's 5 axes. There are 2 bows, but there are no arrows to go with them. And there's 6 armor total. The Bastion currently has no arrows, and they need more melee weapons. Our total combat strength is 31, their total combat strength is 35. We're going to go ahead and give them those arrows. Now I could also give them this, but the game will tell me that they have no need of it right now. So anytime you try to give them something that they have no need, it won't actually consume it and waste it, so that's good. So for example, if I had 6 arrows and threw it in there, they would only take 2 and they'd leave the rest there. Yeah, you take the fodder. Okay, so this is about the only thing you can do to get random items. Sometimes you get something useless, like, I don't know, a plank. Sometimes you get something good, such as arrows. You can build beds in the keep to ensure better rest for your survivors. Bed rest also gives faster recovery to the wounded and sick. Remember to also give them bandages or medication if their condition is serious. Your characters will only get back on their feet with a combination of rest and healing items. Alright, so now all this means is I currently have 0 beds out of 4 possible beds, and it will cost me this amount to make it. So let's go ahead and build 1. So he's going to craft that while he digs. Now you can see here that he's too tired. He just recently got very tired, so his work efficiency is decreased. As soon as that bed is ready, he's going to go ahead and head back and get some sleep. Well, he'll probably need to apply the bandage first, actually. Yeah. Have him start running, and then I fine-tune my accuracy on that. So they're both exchanging places. He's gonna heal, and he's gonna rest. Now he's searching, and this plus means I'm currently healing. That's a nice way to describe it. It's lightly wounded and bandaged. Now he's lightly wounded, bandaged, and resting. And of course he's sleeping. So while and you can only have one person dig at a time. Even fine, whatever game. But that's basically the game in a nutshell. Now there's some eggs here, but I will just let them stack up. I don't want to stop this right now. Time management during the day is super important to your success. So I will go ahead and speed it up at this point because there's nothing else for us to do this day. I don't know what happens if I hit this. I don't know if it's gonna progress that time bar or not. So at the very least, if we leave it like this, I'll see how my guys are doing. So here we can see he's still wounded, and hopefully he'll be better by tomorrow. Well, by nightfall. Now, if he does get this item, I'll need to click again so we can get that. It turns out I get a cloth. That's pretty good, actually. So now these guys have left me a gift, and we'll discover what that is the next day. For now, we'll just keep resting, and then there's the bell. That means it's time for our scavenge missions. Alright, we're gonna scavenge the city. He is still wounded, it looks like, but he's bandaged. We'll have him sleep in the bed. The reason why we're gonna have him do this is... Actually, you know what? No, hold on. I'm trying to think. Okay, I don't know where all the characters are. I don't know what the best characters are. I just know where I just know where 3 characters are. We'll go and send Bertram and have him continue to rest. Bertram, he has the fighting ability, and that comes up as a skill check sometimes. So let's go ahead and do that. Now he carries less than Flint, but on the flip side, he can pass strength checks. Right now, there is still no more enemies in this region, but they will occupy the marketplace. So don't get too comfortable. Pretty much all of this is water I'm going to be bringing back. I'm going to make one lap around. That was not searchable before. It wasn't that I missed it or anything. That is my objective because that's going to give me a shovel. A shovel will allow you to go access the next area. Dirty water is useful for planting crops. You can boil it if you really need the water, but that consumes wood. You can also use the shovel to attack enemies. Attacking enemies is a good way to get axe parts, but as a result, the enemy will be more active in searching for you. So I would suggest killing an enemy guard, anywhere that you are not planning on coming back for a little while. Alright, we're just gonna drop that in there for now. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could just drink this, but I'm not, obviously. We will go ahead and equip this, not that I'll get to keep it very long. Now this indicates that I can hit someone with it. Now, I had a choice between digging here or here. I can also dig here. The character I want is over here. So you would dig here, walk this way, burn one of the corpses, and get there. This character will give you the ability to craft faster. However, I have to get the torch too, or risk getting sick. So right now, we'll just clear this road. So here is where we start. Instead of clearing this one, which leads to this region, I would just clear that, which leads to the same region. So it's a straight shot from my base to here. That's why I passed this one up. So I'll need to get here with my fighting guy in order to make use of the event. Doesn't help to click that fast, but you basically click every time the pulse is gone, I think. Enemy guards patrol the city at night. Avoid their attention to remain undetected. If you stay in their field of view or make noise near them, they'll become aware of your presence. Then it's a matter of seconds before you get detected, unless you can escape in time. If you go into hiding when they're going up to check you out, they will still find you, because they're going to walk right up to the bush and then detect you. Red generally indicates where an enemy might be around, so there's an enemy right there. So that's the other side of that shovel area. And here's another one, but it's grayed out because I don't have a shovel anymore. Shovels are, because they're improvised, they are not durable. You pass a ruined house, once the property of a wealthy merchant. Suddenly you hear yelling inside, the shouts of several men speaking language you don't understand, and a screaming woman. Could it be Izmir's? Take a look inside. You see two Izmirs standing by a half-fallen wall. The third enemy approaches a terrified woman and pushes her forcefully to the ground. Moments later, she draws a knife and rips the attacker's guts wide open. He falls right on her, rendering her defenseless, and the others rush to her in rage. You must help her. If you have flint here, you can just push the broken wall. The outcome of this is actually the same. You don't get any extra reward for getting the fight option, but since I'm doing a recording, we're just going to demonstrate or show you what this fight option is. Attack them from behind. Fortune is allied to the bow. You kill the Izmir standing closer before he can react. The other enemy turns back, surprised. But a moment later, he rushes at you and knocks you off your feet. He's about to deal the final blow and falls dead. A knife handle sticking out of his neck. The woman returned to the fight at the very last moment. Now, remember that you can only have 4 characters, and it doesn't tell you what her stats are. I'm telling you that this is a trader. Not traitor, but she is a merchant. She also carries 1 less to kind of compromise that. I don't know, I haven't experimented that heavily to find out if it's worth having a trader in the party. We'll go ahead and pick her up though, because I do want more people.
You're good with a blade.
You compliment her, adding that someone like her would be a great use in the castle. She smiles evilly, pointing to another body nearby.
A chance to avenge my husband, and all the Izmirs have done? There's nothing I want more. My name is Rena. Lead the way.
Now, she's not in your party or anything, she just basically is at base now. Alright, we're going to equip that. So if I decide to attack, or if I have to attack, there is that as an option. There's the guy right there. He's catching up to me. It looks like I'm full. For now, we'll just go ahead and... That's fine. I'm going to take the plank and leave the valuables. So I need to start making my way back. So since he's already approaching me, I'm just going to go and let him pass me by. There's another guard here. You can actually just walk past him. Now, since I clicked on the hiding spot, he cannot actually see me. He will walk right past me. Of course, I can also smack him with a shovel and then kill him and take his axe parts. I'm gonna wait for him to pass by again. I guess I'd just go over here first and drop off my stuff since I might as well. It's almost daytime, so I can't stay too long. Put that up. I don't really need to hit anybody with it. See, so there's kind of a red aura. It's your only hint that he's around. And then there's another hint that says he'll hear you if you're running when you see the little white sonic thing around you. So he won't hear me because he's too far at this point, even though he's right there. You enter what appears to be an abandoned cottage. Inside you find an old man in torn clothes sitting by the bed in the corner of the chamber. Someone is stretched out on the bed. It takes you a moment to realize the person on the bed is in fact a burnt corpse, half covered with some old sheets. The old man is sitting by the bedside. The old man sitting by the bedside sobs uncontrollably. He seems drunk. The cottage is sparse, but you notice some of the man's belongings that can be useful. If you rub the old man, you get another sad hit, but you get tools. We're gonna let him grieve. You make your way out when the old man suddenly shouts, "Glory for Midland!" You exit the building. When you take a look back, you see him leaving as well. He brings the corpse out, wrapped in sheets, and heads to the backyard to bury the body. Looks like he moved past his darkest moment. Even though the marketplace was safe, that doesn't mean I can take all day, because again, the enemies will start occupying the marketplace looking for you. Maybe not you specifically. Not right now, but soon. That's why I make little supply points, essentially. So, we're going to leave this dirty water. We do need clean water, though I can always maybe wait to see if I get a full stack of 10. A full stack of wood. We'll leave the shovel, because the shovel's really mostly good in the field. Leave the medicine, because I think I have other ideas of what I want to do with that. We'll take the plank so I can stack with another plank I think I have down the road. Yeah, we'll take all this. Click on this to automatically run back towards base. Now, I'm not going to necessarily run in base yet because I've got another supply cache right here, so we'll compare. You've been spotted by the enemy. Run for your life. I don't think I have. Even if you escape, the enemies will raise the alarm and increase the number of guards in the future. If that happens, better avoid going out. Every night you avoid being spotted or just stay in the castle entirely, the alarm level will decrease a bit. By contrast, get spotted multiple nights in a row and the alarm level will rise to the point where the enemy is guarding every corner in the city. Yeah, I don't know why it told me that. They have not spotted me at all. Alright, so take the minerals. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah, I guess I didn't have a plank after all. I must have seen it somewhere else. I don't know. Out of this stuff here, we'll take more of the wood. You can see that I'm picking out the best stuff that I'm finding every night. So I will always have the best of my pick.